Right, welcome back to another video on this channel. Today we are talking big about Manchester United, which I just love to do, especially as a Chelsea fan seeing my club do so shit right now. But yeah, all jokes aside, I really don't mind because Erik ten Hag is really impressing me at this moment in time as manager of Manchester United. In their last 21 games, they've won 17, drawn 3 and lost 1. And one of those wins, of course, coming this evening in that Carabao Cup final victory over Newcastle to claim Erik ten Hag his first piece of silverware as manager of Manchester United. And in this video, I'm going to be giving you my reasons as to why I think Erik ten Hag and how Erik ten Hag has made Manchester United great again, as the title does suggest. So yeah, let's just get straight into it. So first of all, starting off with what he inherited in the summer, which was an absolute mess, to be, even non-over-exaggerative, in terms of the aura of the players, the aura of the dressing room, the reputations of this Man United team, and overall what he inherited from Ralf Rangnick at the back end of last season, going into pre-season. And I think what he tried to do was, off the bat, straight from the get-go, implement this style of play that he did, prefer to use at Ajax, which of course is heavily possession-based football and heavily press-orientated football, which I think it's fair to say failed miserably at the start of the season when they lost their first two games. First of all 2-1 at home to Brighton, and second of all an emphatic loss 4-0 at the Brentford Community Stadium. And then after that I think he realised, okay, this is not going to work straight away, and I think he was gathering a bit of pressure from the media, which of course you are going to do as Manchester United manager when you lose 6-1 on aggregate in your first two games in the job. And he decided to switch up a little bit, made his team a little bit more resolute just to get results in the short term. They were pragmatic, played counter-attacking football, and it worked because they did start to gather a bit of results. I think a perfect example of that is at the start of the season, in the third game of the season after that Brentford defeat when they beat Liverpool 2-1 at Old Trafford. Marcus Rashford, the perfect example of that counter-attacking system when both of his goals came from counter-attacks, to be fair. And yeah, I think Erik ten Hag kind of used that period to get out of the grace period, really, which every manager seems to have to go through at the start of their new tenure, where they're playing players based on the old regime and the old manager, but just because they think it's fair, and they have to kind of trust players that they know aren't really going to be part of their plans in that system long term, like your Harry Maguires, your Cristiano Ronaldos, your Scott McTominays, for example, who Erik ten Hag full well knew weren't going to be in his long term plans in this system as starting players, but kind of felt like he had to play them at the start just until they gave him a reason not to trust them, which of course ended up happening for all three of those. And he brought in the likes of Casemiro, for example, Rafael Varane, Luke Shaw, and yeah, since then you've saw an absolutely massive improvement. Like I said, they've built some absolutely magnificent momentum in their last 21 matches. Like I said, they've won 17, so they've been absolutely brilliant. They've been tearing teams apart, and they have been absolutely unstoppable in the passing system they're playing and the press orientated football they're playing as well, because the way they like to do it is they like to have three men back at all times, which you'd normally say is an elbow tactic, given one fullback going forward and the other one going back and sitting back and forming a back three with Martinez and Varane. But that's not really been the case, because I think it's normally Diogo Dalot who's actually going forward, and you'd expect Luke Shaw to be the one going forward because in recent years for United he's been almost an overlapping fullback. But it's between him and Casemiro really that's kind of slotted in that back three next to Martinez and to Varane to give Dalot more license to go forward and help out Antony on that right hand side. They then like to absolutely flood between the lines, to be fair, in the final third with the likes of obviously Fernandes, Sancho when he plays, Rashford, Eriksen at times, and it gives them a lot of options, which I think is first of all one of the main reasons why Marcus Rashford has been so good this season, because I've always said about Marcus Rashford, I've always thought about Marcus Rashford, he's always playing his best football when he's given space, and whenever he's given space he is incredibly dangerous, as we've seen this season with his finishing ability. He's got 14 goals and 3 assists in 22 starts in the Premier League alone this season, and yep, has been Manchester United's probably most important player this season given his output up front, and that's purely in my opinion because of how much space he's been given, because of the likes of Fernandes and Sancho and your Antony and your Eriksen and even Weghorst up front, who's come in and done that brilliantly because he offers that focal point and drags defenders out, which gives him more space. And that's the main reason why I think Rashford has been so good this season and so clinical, and Erik ten Hag has obviously instilled massive amounts of confidence in him, and we're really seeing the best of Marcus Rashford this season. And yet, like I said, Casemiro is just the absolute kingpin in this team because United's attackers are able to go forward and flood forward in numbers, knowing they have an absolute world-class destroyer behind him. I mean, he averages 4.1 tackles 1 per 90, 1.61 interceptions per 90, 2.05 blocks per 90, 61.7% dribblers tackle success ratio, and he wins 68.1% of his aerial duels as well. So I think he's just an absolutely world-class holding midfielder. Then you have Lisandro Martinez, who's added that ability to play out from the back, which of course Harry Maguire wasn't really able to do, and obviously he adds that little bit of pace as well to deal with counter-attacks, like Rafael Varane, for example, who sits a little bit further off, and Martinez offers more of the aggressive side where he steps up and puts pressure on the forwards for counter-attacks or when breaks happen against them. And yet, like I alluded to, his passing ability has been so crucial, especially given how I said United like to really flood between the lines, and Martinez's passes between the lines is just an absolute joke. He's got a 94.1% pass completion ratio of passes between the lines, which is just absolute insanity. He's averaging 0.59 successful take-ons per 90, which of course, shows how comfortable he is on the ball, and his defensive work as well, which definitely does go under the radar as a one-on-one defender especially. 2.19 tackles 1 per 90, a 76.5% dribblers tackled ratio, which is absolutely brilliant for a centre-back. He blocks 0.96 passes per 90 and has 6.61 ball recoveries per 90, which again for a centre-back is absolutely brilliant. So I think Lisandro Martinez has really proved a lot of people wrong, given how he started off the season and the criticism he got at the start of the season from pundits in the media. And yeah, he has just been absolutely brilliant for Man United at centre-back. Then you have Bruno Fernandes, for example, on the other side up front, who's just been Bruno Fernandes of old, really. He's been so effective in that final third for creating chances for United, and as I said, has been absolutely brilliant. Obviously, Fernandes is a player that I would describe as a Hollywood pass merchant, because he does like to play those Hollywood passes and does like to play those risky passes, which Ten Hag has given him a lot more freedom to do this season, which is proved in his 4.4 long passes per 90 ratio. He averages 2.87 key passes per 90 and 5.18 shot creating actions per 90, which is just an absolute joke, to be fair. And that's not only that as well, his ability off the ball in the press is absolutely staggering as well. I mean, he averages 0.65 tackles in the final third per 90 and 6.57 ball recoveries per 90, which is absolutely brilliant once again in attacking midfielder's role. Then you've got Wout Weghorst up front, who's added a little bit of a different element to United up front, like I alluded to earlier on in the video. His presence up front to be a focal point and take a bit of attraction away from Marcus Rashford, I think has massively benefited Rashford and of course Bruno Fernandes as well. He's well able to link up play in terms of the fact he creates 1.59 key passes per 90, and obviously as well is very good off the ball and adds a lot of energy and pressing ability off the ball to this United team. He averages 0.2 shot creating actions from defensive actions this season so far in his time at United, 0.99 interceptions and 5.15 ball recoveries per 90 as well, which is absolutely brilliant for a striker in that role as well. So I think Weghorst has been a good signing in that sense. I don't think he's going to be the striker that United really want long term to fight for Premier League titles, but as a stand-in striker, he's doing quite a good job in that sense and is probably getting the best out of Rashford, given the fact that he takes a little bit of, pressure off Rashford in that sense and gives him more space to obviously do his thing. And overall, I just think Erik ten Hag is really the one to be given credit for here. I think he's really found a way to get the best out of this United team. I think he's been really smart in going about how he's implemented this style of play in. Like I said, there was phases there where at the start of the season he tried to just embed things straight away. He was patient, he tried to make him a bit more resolute first of all, and then implemented his system when he had the tools to do so, and the patience and the backing of the fans to do so as well. So I think he's done really well in that sense. And yeah, the recruitment from Ten Hag in this United team with Casemiro, Martinez as I said, Weghorst in January, and Eriksen as well, who's been absolutely brilliant, even though he's injured of course right now, in terms of keeping possession, his press resistance, and of course is very good for his build-up play in terms of the fact that he is well able and well capable of keeping the ball in this Erik ten Hag system, which is exactly what you want as an 8 in this system next to Casemiro. And yeah, in conclusion, I really do think that Man United could be a very scary prospect and could be dangerous in English football in the next few years when Erik ten Hag does get a few transfer windows under his belt, does get a few more players in this system that he does want, and improves Man United's depth overall, which isn't, world class at this moment in time. And yep, I think Man United have finally got themselves the manager after all the managers they've been through in the show over the last few years. I think Erik ten Hag is finally going to be the one that gets Man United firing again in a Premier League title race. I mean, the fact he's got United even arguably in the title race this season, which personally I don't think they are in one, but the fact it's even a debate this season with this Man United team is just absolute kudos to Erik ten Hag and just how well he's doing this season with Manchester United. But yeah, Manchester United fans, let me know in the comment section below, have I hit the nail on the head with my analysis on your club, or am I talking absolute shit? Let me know in the comment section below, because of course no matter what I say, you will probably know your club way more than I ever will. So yeah, let me know in the comment section below of course. And yeah, leave a like on the video if you did enjoy, it would be massively appreciated. And also if you could subscribe to the channel as well, that would also be hugely appreciated, because I am looking to hit 2,000 subscribers on this channel as soon as we bloody well possibly can. So every single one of you that hits that subscribe button would be helping me out massively in getting to that goal as soon as bloody possible. So yeah, I'll see you guys in my next video, and yeah, chat to you later.